Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. This is Rhonda Pierce with SCHMETZ Needles, North America. I'm delighted that you're here. As you come on, tell us where you're at, what city, what state, or what country you're coming in from. Today's a little bit unusual, even though I'm here in the office. What you can't see is I've got two laptops here trying to get onto our normal platform, and things have simply just gone awry. So I'm doing Facebook Live right here with my phone on a little pedestal. So come on board. It looks like there's a few people here. Oh, now I'm getting a message that there's a slow connection. So we have one little incident after another. So on our other two laptops, we couldn't get the cameras, or we couldn't get the camera to work on the one laptop. But nevertheless, I'm here and I'm delighted to be here. So, gosh, I hope you're all enjoying the day. Let me see here. Okay, I see Barb is here. I can see some comments. I'd like to know that you're actually there. I see a number. So, what are you sewing on? Or what have you made? Oh, Reen, hi, thanks. Reen says I'm looking good. Oh, awesome. And I'm hoping that you can hear me too. Lindsay is saying technology is great until it isn't. So I agree with that. Luckily, I'm here in the office today. Paul is here. Paul knows all the ins and outs of technology, so I'm so glad I'm here with Paul. So as we get started, this might be a little bit abbreviated, but that's okay. I did collect your questions to answer today, and I'll answer those shortly. So last month, we had the SCHMETZ giveaway. Wasn't that fantastic? And Jana Elliott from San Francisco was our winner. So I know she had a great time with seeing all those goodies, the sewing notions, the SCHMETZ needles, etc. And Jana answered the question, how often do you sew? And she tries to sew every weekend, at least every weekend. So Evelyn, hello. I see Marie and Maureen. So thank you for being here today. All right, so to win today's giveaway, I'm going to throw out the question right now because I don't know how today's live is going to go. Who knows? We might get cut off. Anyway, to win today's SCHMETZ giveaway, you have to answer this question. How does the closing of Joann's affect you? Where will you shop? If you like to sew, piece, or quilt, where are you going to find your fabrics? Or maybe you have a local quilt shop or a local fabric shop. Are you going to be shopping there more frequently? Or are you going to try to shop more for fabrics at Hobby Lobby? So let me know in the chat. Go ahead and just put, how does the closing of Joann's affect you? And where are you going to buy all your fabrics and your sewing notions? Maybe you're going to continue to shop at your local quilt shop or fabric store, and that's fantastic. But you know, Joann's really did provide a service in accessibility, and so sorry to see them go, but gosh, that's yeah, sorry to see them go. And also you could answer, do you have any special memories from Joann's fabrics and crafts? I mean, they're all over the country. So either answer, how does the closing of Joann's affect you, or provide a memory of Joann's store. Okay, so yes, I am on Facebook Live here today, and let's see, I'm getting ready to travel. Yay, I'm really looking forward to that. So tomorrow I'm leaving for the Atlanta area and I'll be at the Original Sewing and Quilt Expo. How many of you will be there? How many of you are taking my classes? So this year with Original Sewing and Quilt Expo, generally I do a 60-minute lecture, but this year, besides that, I'm also offering 2 hands-on classes that are 90 minutes each. One is geared towards piecing and quilting. What needle do you use? And the second 90-minute class is geared towards sewing with knits and specialty fabrics. And it too is 90 minutes. So Atlanta, Lakeland, and Cleveland. So those are the shows that are coming up next on my schedule. So if you have a chance, sign up for my classes. All right. How many of you read the SCHMETZ newsletter? It went out, I think that was Friday of last week. And oh, yeah, you can actually see a picture of me in my office here cutting out hundreds and hundreds of different types of fabrics for my upcoming classes. So in my classes, I provide kits, whether it's sewing with knits and specialty fabrics or piecing and quilting, and then I include a variety of different needle types and sizes so we can experiment and find what works best. So it's really a fun interactive class. And Friday, I just found out that my proposal for a 3-hour hands-on SCHMETZ exploratory class was accepted in Houston at International Quilt Festival. So that's October 8th. If you happen to be going to International Quilt Market or Festival, sign up for my class. It's on Wednesday, October 8th in the morning. And the other thing I'll just mention about International Quilt Festival is in my email this morning, I just printed out the first page of the email as a reminder that International Quilt Festival in Houston has a call for quilts. So if you've ever dreamed of having your quilt or quilts on display, now's the time to submit a proposal with pictures and a description and measurements, etc. If you're interested, you go to quilts.com, quilts with the plural, with the S on the end, .com, and they have due dates that are starting in early April. So go ahead and submit your quilt. You never know. In 2017, I had finished my Color Splash quilt, and then I saw the call for entries with a due date just 2 weeks away, and I thought, you know what? I have nothing to lose. So I entered my quilt, and guess what? They took it. So it hung at 3 international quilt festivals, 2 in Houston and 1 in Chicago. So check that out, quilts.com. All right, so let me see. In the newsletter also, I had the feature needle, which is the quick threading needle. How many of you know about the quick threading needle? And let me see, here it is. Quick threading needle, I've got it right here. Right here. Looks like, is this mirrored? Let me just see, I'm gonna press that and see if that changes. Nope, it does not. Okay, so quick threading needle is a universal needle with a little slot in the eye of the needle. A little slot in the eye of the needle. This is a terrific needle if maybe you have arthritis or dexterity problems in your hands, or there's a lot of low vision people or even blind people that still enjoy sewing and they use the quick threading needle, so they don't need assistance from anyone else. So Brianna of So Cute and Quirky, she did a little video about the quick threading needle. So I encourage you to give that needle a try, or maybe you have a friend that's kind of given up on sewing because they can't thread the needle and they don't have the automatic needle threader. Give them a package of the quick threading needle. It comes in 2 sizes, the 80-12 and the 90-14, and it just might help someone continue their passion to sewing. I suggest that if you use this special needle, that you reduce your sewing speed, and also use it mostly on woven fabrics. Don't use it on knits, because the knit will actually snag on the little opening in the eye. And don't use it for batting or for quilting either. You can use it for piecing, but not for quilting. Again, the batting would get caught right here in the little eye of the needle. So check out Brianna's video and make comments. And gosh, Brianna's giving us some really wonderful videos. Textile Talks, if coming up this afternoon, you know those are free lectures. You've got the links right there in your newsletter. And if you don't have my newsletter, if you don't get it, how do you subscribe? Well, just go to SCHMETZ Needles, alloneword.com, and in about 20 seconds, one of those irritating pop-ups will say, hey, sign up for the newsletter. So that's how you can do that. March is also National Quilting Month, and you're going to be seeing more of that. And SCHMETZ, we've actually provided some prizes for National Quilting Month. So look for some links online for that activity. Okay, so this is Q&A, and we have some good questions here. And Paul is still working on my laptop here. All right. Ann Jenke, and it just so happens I know Ann. Ann is from Iowa, and she said that she saw someone using sewing machine needles to hang pictures on the walls. Well, guess what, Ann? This quilt that you see right here behind me is all hung with SCHMETZ needles. So what I do is I use my my overused or my used SCHMETZ needles, needles that are no longer sewing worthy, and I will just sometimes with my fingernail, or sometimes with a small hammer, I'll just hammer them into the wall. And then what I do is on my actual quilt, then I will use these paper clips, these paper binding clips. This is a medium size one. Depending on how big or heavy your quilt is, you could use a small or a larger one. And I clip along the binding at the top of my quilt, and then I hang the quilt right here on this open little clip. So I keep one clip open and the other one up, and I'll hang right here from this clip. So on this quilt here that you see in the back, I've got 9 or 10 different needles in the wall with 9 or 10 different clips. So just a handy way. In my home, I've got 11 or 12 quilts hanging, and guess what? They're all hanging with used SCHMETZ needles. All right. So Anne is also asking, hey, do you have any other ideas for used SCHMETZ needles? So if you've got an idea of how to use up your overused or your used SCHMETZ needles, or those SCHMETZ needles that are no longer sewing worthy, put a comment in the chat, and I will be able to maybe see it right now, or definitely I'll see it later. Okay, Catherine Atkin says that she likes programs like the Great British Sewing Bee. How many of you watched that? And she likes to focus on the correct needle for each project. And I say bravo for that. And I would agree that selecting your needle type and size is very important for your specific projects. So when we're working with quilts, oftentimes we're working with a woven fabric. And I always like to say with piecing and quilting, you've got some options. And remember that our machines sometimes have personalities. So what machine needle works for you may not be the best choice for your sewing buddy. So 5 needle types popular for piecing and for quilting. Of course, we've got the universal needle, the workhorse of all needle types. If you're working on a denim quilt, a flannel quilt, or a heavy-duty raggy quilt, the jeans needle, also known as a denim needle, is fantastic. For the top stitch needle with the elongated eye is popular for some people who like to piece and quilt. We also have the quilting needle, specifically designed for piecing and for quilting. You'll probably use the smaller size 7511 for the piecing of your project and the larger 9014 for the quilting of your project. And last but not least is the Microtex, generically known as a sharp needle. The Microtex gives you that very clean, precise stitch. And because it is such a sharp needle, this needle is going to dull quicker than any other needle type. So you will need to replace your Microtex more frequently. And if you like to sew, piece, or quilt with batik fabrics, the Microtex is a great needle choice. So what I also just want to add is, here we go. I've got 3 setups here. In the little SCHMETZ ABC Pocket Guide, on the back inside cover is an alphabetical listing of different fabrics with recommendations for needle types and sizes. So you can use this as a reference. Also, if you go to SCHMETZneedles.com under resources, you can actually download this into your phone. And the digital version includes over 100 different fabrics with needle type and size recommendations. So keep that information in mind, because you know what? The needle really does make a difference. For instance, how many of you like to sew with minky or cuddle fabric? You know, that's kind of a challenging fabric sometimes. And let me just tell you that the needle makes a huge difference. And that stretch size 9014 is your needle of choice. So yeah, that little 2-inch piece of steel makes a huge difference. All right, Marlene says that she gets confused by the terms ballpoint, stretch, and jersey, and which to use. Well, awesome question, because Marlene, you're not alone. So let's just talk about these needles a little bit. So the jersey needle, the ballpoint. Let's talk about jersey. Well, guess what? The jersey needle has a medium ballpoint. So sometimes your books and patterns, etc., will request a ballpoint needle, and you can use the jersey needle. But guess what? The stretch needle also has a medium ballpoint and is sometimes referred to as a ballpoint needle. So a ballpoint needle could be either a jersey or a stretch needle. So if you're working with knits, how do you know which needle type to use? Well, there's a rule of thumb that works about 80% of the time. If your knit fabric has lycra, spandex, or elastic, you're going to use the stretch needle. Why? Because the stretch needle has that medium ballpoint, but when you compare it to the jersey needle, The stretch needle has a smaller eye and a deeper scarf. So it's going to react a little bit differently to your knit fabrics that have lycra, spandex, or elastic. If you're sewing just on a regular knit fabric, use the jersey needle. Sometimes stretch and jersey are interchangeable, but not always. So I always suggest that you have both on hand. So these are the single cards that you can find at your local sewing machine dealer, quilt shops, and fabric stores. But you also have available some combo packs. So let me just walk you through these combo packs. This one here is called the fleece pack, and it's the stretch needle, and it's in two sizes, 75-11 and 90-14. So there's 5 needles. But if you're sewing on a variety of knit fabrics, you might consider getting this pack here, which is the knit and stretch pack, because it has both the jersey and the stretch needle in assorted sizes. So when you go to your local store, you've got some options. Do you want single card, single size, or do you want assorted sizes, or do you want the assorted packs? So very good question. So Marlene, again, when do you use a stretch and a jersey? Generally, the rule of thumb is if your knit fabric has lycra, spandex, or elastic, you're going to use the stretch needle. If it's just a jersey or a knit fabric, use the jersey needle. Sometimes, but not always, stretch and jersey are interchangeable. So be prepared to experiment. All right. One more question here. Joanne Rodriguez asked about elastic thread. And it just so happens I have some right here. Elastic thread, she's asking, I need to use elastic thread and I'm not sure about the needle for that. And should I put it in the bobbin also? So this is called Seraflex thread, and it has stretch to it. Let me see if I can just pull the tail on this, and you can see a little bit of the stretch. It stretches about 65% stretch in the Seraflex thread. This is a Mettler product, Mettler. So I've got 3 spools here of Seraflex. So how do you use this thread? Well, generally you're going to put both the Seraflex in the top of your machine and also in the bobbin of your machine, because you're going to work with a knit fabric, a stretchy fabric, and you want the thread, both the bottom and the top threads, to stretch. So you're going to use it in the bobbin and also at the top of your machine. Now, when you're winding your bobbin with this Seraflex thread, you need to reduce the winding speed of the bobbin because you don't want the thread to be stretching as you're winding. So normally you don't need to adjust your needle length or width. You can normally just use your regular stitch length for your stitches, but again, you should do a couple little test stitches first. If you like to sew with Minky or Cuddle, the Seraflex is a great needle choice or a thread choice too. So marry that up with your stretch size 90-14 needle. So Marlene, thank you for that awesome question. Okay, let me see. I found a question on Instagram also about using universal 80-12 for piecing and universal 90-14 for quilting. Can you explain the difference from what, can you explain the difference? Well, that's normally, well, let's see. I don't normally piece or quilt with a universal needle, but there's certainly nothing wrong with that. So universal 80-12 versus a 90-14 would be the difference in the needle size. So needle size, how is that determined? Well, SCHMETZ is a German company, and they use the metric system. So they're going to measure this area here of the needle, and they'll get a measurement like 0.70, 0.80, 0.90, etc. They take that physical measurement times 100 to come up with the sizes that we're familiar with. Sizes 70, 80, 90, etc. So now that you know that the larger the needle size, larger the number is, the larger the needle is. So a size 90 needle is larger than a size 70 or size 80 needle. So generally when you're piecing, you're working with just two fabrics, two single layer fabrics. So universal size 80-12 would work. Other options that you would have would be like the Microtex 80-12. That's my favorite needle for piecing. And some people like to use a top stitch or a quilting needle, etc. I will tell you that, I mentioned that Color Splash quilt that I made several years ago that hung in Houston at International Quilt Festival. I actually, rather than a Microtex 80-12, my stitches were coming out a little bit wobbly. They were a little wonky. So what I had to do was to downsize. I went to a Microtex size 70-10, and the needle just stitched beautifully, made a beautiful stitch, and it sounded right when the stitch was being made, sewed like butter. So sometimes you have to make adjustments. For quilting, size 90-14 is oftentimes recommended because you're going through all those different layers. You're going through the piece top, the batting, and then the quilt backing. So you need a little bit heavier needle to go through all of those layers. So size 90-14 is very good. So I'll go ahead and just also give you my rule of thumb on needle size. So generally for 40 weight thread, which is the most common weight of thread for all kinds of sewing, it doesn't matter what the brand is. For 40 weight thread, I generally use a size 80-12 needle. So using that as my benchmark, a 40 weight thread with a 80-12 needle, now I know if I'm going to be working with a heavier weight thread, I need to move up at least to a size 90-14 needle, or maybe even a larger needle size. So again, my benchmark for a 40 weight thread is an 80-12 needle. And if you're going to be working with a finer thread, then you need to size down to a 70-10 or an appropriate smaller size needle. So use that as a benchmark. You know, the thing is, all of our fabrics are different. They have different weaves, weights, textures, etc. We use different threads, and sometimes our machines have personalities. So again, do some testing, and what works for you may not work for your sewing buddy. So no problem with that. Okay, another question was about recycling metal rotary blades. Okay, very good question. So a week or two ago, if you're on Facebook and Instagram, we posted the titanium coated rotary blades. So these work in your regular rotary cutters. This just happens to be an old OFA, but it works very well, especially when I have a sharp blade in here. So these blades here are they're steel with a titanium coating, and to tell you the truth, I've never been asked that question on how to recycle. I'll tell you what, I just, when I throw my blades away, I put them in a little container, or I'll tape them between two pieces of cardboard so that I or the garbage person or anybody else doesn't accidentally cut themselves. So, can titanium blades be recycled? I don't know. And I'll have to research that. So, I'm going to have to get back to you on that. I'll try to answer that next month. Roll the gold blades. Yep, the titanium coating helps to give the blade extra strength and more cutting experience. So if you've not tried Roll the Gold, you can give these a try. This one here is a 10 blade pack. And it also comes in a 2 blade pack too, in a 45 millimeter a size only. Okay, well, I don't even know what time it is because I always look at my phone here to tell me what time it is. All right, so to win today's giveaway, and gosh, so many fantastic giveaways. And do I have them listed here? I have them listed here in my newsletter. And I'll tell you, there was one product that was really new to me that I want you to check out. And that was a batting that actually has a backing. And that's called Birdie Bird Quilts. And that's the website too, Birdie Bird Quilts. So BIRDIE, Bird Quilts, all one word.com. So the sample that we're giving away is the white, or kind of an off-white, and it has a really soft flannel-like batting. So wow, that really saves you some planning time and sewing time, preparation time. So check out Birdie Bird Quilts batting. Shannon Fabrics, well, you know I'm a huge Shannon Fabrics fan, so there's a kit there featuring blue and green and aqua figures, and that's a little quilt kit. Timeless Treasures, oh boy, they have that roll of fabric, that pre-cut, so somebody, and I think that one's mostly jewel tones. Aurifil threads, we always love Aurifil threads. The Needle Travel Guide, so if you're planning some shop hops, or maybe you're going on vacation this year, you can plan to stop at some quilt and fabric and fiber stores along the way. Mary Malari provided one of her apron patterns. Amy Berrickman had a cute little bag pattern for you. Now, what was new this month also was Mary Ellen products. So there's some of the press and sew that you can, in a sample size, so you can give that a try. Poppy Cotton has a really cute cowboy quilt pattern that's included. And then Taylor Seville with some Taylor's chalk. So always pleased that my industry friends supplies really fantastic giveaways. So to answer today's question, or to be in the giveaway, to win the giveaway, you have to answer how is the closing of Joann's affecting you? Are you going to shop more, or maybe find a local quilt shop or fabric store? Maybe you're going to visit Hobby Lobby more, and or maybe you have a memory from Joann's, a fond memory. Maybe you went there with your mom or your granddaughter as an introduction to our wonderful world of sewing, piecing, and quilting. So I think Paul here, Paul has the winner. Let's see. Oh, before I give the winner, because I'm still waiting for the winner's name, next month, the SCHMETZ Snippet, is always on the first Wednesday of each month. So that's April 2nd. But guess what? I'm going to be in transit that day. I'm going to be on my way to, I'll be flying into Tampa. on my way to Lakeland, Florida for Original Sewing and Quilt Expo. So I don't know what time I'm giving my SCHMETZ virtual. I might actually do it the next day and have some live guests, some of the instructors and fans of SCHMETZ, and do a live. So I'm going to ask you to stay tuned. I'll read the SCHMETZ newsletter, and I'll have the date, and it'll be posted on Instagram and Facebook too. Okay, so Paul has just given me the winner. And our winner is from Florida. Wesley Chapel, Florida. Maybe I'll see the winner in 2 weeks. The winner is Tisha West Bradley. Tisha said Joann's was her only local store, so quick trips for threads interfacing will no longer exist. She will definitely miss Joann's. And I think, Tisha, you have a lot of people, you have a lot of company with that sentiment and that situation. So I think we will work things out, but yeah, you're not alone. So Tisha West Bradley is our winner today of the awesome SCHMETZ giveaway. Tisha, to win today, what you need to do is send an email to info@schmetzneedles.com with your shipping address, and we'll get that all those sewing goodies out to you. All right, so let me just see if I can scroll. Anita says she rarely goes shopping physically because she really loves to fondle the fabric, and I know you've got a lot of company in that there. Let's see. Sally says no more. She says more online purchases. Nancy says she lives in Canada. They don't have Joann's in Canada, but you've got Fabricville and Fabric Land. So you can get your SCHMETZ needles there. Let me see what else. Mona doesn't have a Joann's. Let me see here. Anita says the needle guide is a fun resource tool. It's neat to read through and to mark off the needles that she's used. So thank you, Anita. Thank you so much for your comments. Cindy says she uses old medicine bottles for both old needles and for the blades. With the childproof lid, it helps to secure them when tossed. Yep. Yeah, Jana, that Birdie Bird Quilts is very interesting. So I hope you all go to visit birdiebirdquilts.com and check out. There's a picture in of the giveaway on Facebook and in the newsletter, but because it's tone on tone, it's kind of hard to see. Okay, let me see. Well, there was a comment. Debbie says, thanks for the explanation on stretch ballpoint needles. Okay, well, I think that's about all the comments I can see at the moment without losing my connection. Okay, so here, somebody says, I can't see it now. It just scrolled by. Oh, Cindy says that Michael's starting to have fabric. Yeah, Michael's has, well, last time I was there, they had mostly pre-cuts, and they have just, I think it's only 4 SKUs of SCHMETZ needles. So you're going to have to go elsewhere for your SCHMETZ needles for a while, at least, until we can get more in there. Okay, everyone. Well, listen, I want to say thank you for bearing with me today with all these technical issues that we're having. I've got 2 laptops here, my old laptop and my brand new laptop, which worked yesterday when I gave a live. So hopefully we can get that working again, and stay tuned. Next month I will be live in Florida, and hopefully with some guests. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for using SCHMETZ, and share the love of sewing with SCHMETZ with your buddies. Okay, everybody, sew SCHMETZ.